The very name Gautama Buddha conjures the image of a serene and contemplative ascetic. He is often portrayed seated in tranquil stillness, immersed in profound meditation. A gentle, knowing smile lingers on his lips. He was a prince of Kapilavastu, an ancient Indian kingdom, and being born into the Shakya clan, he came to be known as Shakya Simha. The line of the Shakya Simha is now located within the territorial boundaries of modern-day Nepal. Buddha was a contemporary of the Magadhan kings Bimbisara and Ajatashatru. In most Buddha statues found across the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia, two distinctive and somewhat unusual features are commonly observed, namely, abnormally elongated ears and a head covered with tightly coiled, snail-shell-like curls. The large ears and elongated earlobes seen in representations of Gautama Buddha are not typical of ordinary human anatomy. This raises the question, did Gautama Buddha actually possess such long ears? The canonical Buddhist scriptures and Pali texts do not provide a definitive answer to this question. Although the Lakkhana Sutta enumerates 32 major physical characteristics of a great man, it makes no explicit mention of elongated ears. However, in extended lists, mention is made of long, rounded earlobes likened to lotus petals. There are two prevailing theories regarding the origin of these elongated ears. The first holds that during his early life as Prince Siddhartha of the Shakya clan, prior to his renunciation of worldly life, he, like other royalty, adorned himself in lavish garments and ornaments. These included fine silk robes and heavy jewelry made of gold, silver, and precious stones. Like other members of royal households of his time, Siddhartha wore heavy earrings. The prolonged wearing of such ornaments is believed to have stretched his earlobes, making them appear elongated. At the age of 29, Siddhartha renounced worldly life, abandoning all jewelry and luxury. Yet the stretched earlobes remained as a physical remnant of his princely past. A second, more symbolic theory suggests that Siddhartha attained Buddhahood. He relinquished all attachment to the material world. He was illuminated by the light of wisdom. Consequently, his heart overflowed with compassion for all sentient beings. His great ears thus came to symbolize his spiritual wisdom, empathetic listening, and boundless compassion. Legend holds that he could hear the cries and sufferings of all beings through those ears. Hence, Buddha images often feature these prominently large ears as an emblem of divine empathy. These elongated ears were also regarded as auspicious marks. Have you noticed the coiled circular curls that adorn the heads of all Buddha statues? Obviously you have. But are these truly representations of hair, or do they signify something else? According to Buddhist scriptures and the Lakkhana Sutta, Gautama possessed thick, black, curly hair. These were traditionally tied into a top knot or jauta. When he renounced household life in pursuit of enlightenment, he shaved his head, symbolizing renunciation. Yet why then are coiled curls still depicted in his iconography? A popular Buddhist legend asserts that what appears to be hair on his head is in fact not hair at all. Rather, they are 108 snail shells. One day, while meditating beneath a tree, the Buddha became so deeply absorbed that he lost track of time. At that moment, the sun stood directly overhead, and its intense rays scorched the earth. As Buddha's head was shaven, the sun's rays beat down directly upon his scalp. At that point, a snail ascended onto his head. Following its example, more snails climbed onto the Buddha's head. Their moist, soft bodies cooled the Buddha's delicate scalp, creating a protective, cooling layer over his entire head. Altogether, 108 snails formed a moist, cooling shield that enabled the Buddha to continue his meditation uninterrupted for several hours. Eventually, the scorching heat dried and killed the snails. At dusk, when the Buddha emerged from his meditative state, the snails fell from his head and he realized that they had formed a living canopy during his meditation. These snails had sacrificed their lives to ensure his path to enlightenment remained undisturbed. The score was cool. His path to enlightenment remained undisturbed. Thus, they are honored as martyrs, and their memory is preserved in the 108 coiled forms seen in Buddha images. However, many scholars argue that such hair depictions were influenced by Gandharan art. This tradition is also known as Greco-Buddhist art. Following Alexander the Great's Indian campaign, 327 to 325 BCE, Greek art and architecture began influencing regions of north and northwestern India. Consequently, Buddha statues began to feature curly hair, modeled after Greco-Roman sculptural aesthetic.